I'm Brandon Holschuh. I live in Concord Township, Ohio, and I am a studio art jeweler. I kind of play in the gray area between sculpture and jewelry. I've been making jewelry since I was about 12 years old. I've been selling jewelry since I was about 15 years old. I used to come home from school with a lot of cash in my book bag, and my mother wanted to know exactly what I was selling. It was jewelry, Mom. The early jewelry wasn't so much about jewelry as it was my interest and my fascination with beads, and the beads more of the historical provenance. I was always interested in where this artifact came from, what archaeologists dig site that it was unearthed from. There was always some story about, this artifact, which happened to be a bead, was 2,000 years old, and it was traded through these trade routes. I did a lot of sales to my teachers, a couple of students, very inexpensive, but I've seen some of my very early jewelry come back to me, and I'm just amazed that I would make something at such a young age and be so fascinated with specifically, beads. It always kind of started from beads. I was always fascinated with my early work about how this artifact could or should be presented. So it was, I want to showcase this wonderful thing, and I want to tell its story. I want it to be paramount in the jewelry piece. So it wasn't so much how the jewelry looked, it was more about this presentation. And that kind of mindset that I started early on it carried right through to my current work. I really start with the materials. I begin the process of working the metal, and that kind of dictates what shapes I'm able to achieve. There is this common design element in almost all of my work where there's a black area, some small cavity or a hole that would be casting a shadow on itself. There's always this curiosity. The viewer is always wondering, well, what's inside there? There's kind of do this technique. There isn't really an official term for it. I suppose I call it flame setting, where I'm using a torch to ball up the metal to set each gemstone individually, one at a time. It's a heat process, it's a torch work, and I traditionally love to work with gemstones that won't tolerate the torch heat as a challenge. You can't get an emerald warm or hot. It'll chip and discolor and crack. But I enjoy that balance of knowing how far I can push those materials, how far I can go before I do any damage to the work. I'm enjoying my venture right now with exhibiting my work nationally all over the country. It's been received well, appreciated, and purchased. Those are all great things for me. So I do have, my book that came out in 2009. I'm working on my second book. I teach workshops and classes all over the country and abroad. I've got a lot of different things going on.